here we are with
What's
Mr.
up, dude?
with Mr. Bill Hudson. Thank you, Bill, so much for being here. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, man.
It's my
Awesome.
pleasure. We met a couple of months ago in São Paulo, where you were playing with AM MORBID, and actually, I wasn't supposed to be there that day, but so many lucky things happened, so I was able to see the show, and it was a very killer show. So first of all,
Thank you.
congratulations. I started like following you on social media. I always like the way you talk, the reels where you explain your view about life, about
I
negative
should do
comments.
more of
Yeah,
those.
you should
Yeah.
do more. That's very, very nice. I like the fact, that you are very positive. And after a while, I discovered that você é brasileiro.
Eu
So I
sou
was like,
brasileiro.
wow. So there's a Brazilian dude playing with I Am Morbid. And I started like knowing more about you. And I discovered your band, NORTHTALE. And I was actually, honestly, really impressed because I was a big fan of Angra the early days. And I lost kind of, to be honest with you, I was like disinterested in power metal because I didn't like the songs anymore. I was like not really into it anymore. But your music and your records made me fall in love again with that music. So thank you
Oh,
very much for see, and always I made some of my friends listen to them and they were like, wow, I mean, this is very good. So I really hope the band will be keep growing because you deserve it.
I appreciate it, man. And regarding, especially specifically regarding Northdale, that's really good to hear because it's Northdale is made for people like that. Like for people
Okay.
like you, for exactly the people you described, because I'm one of them too. We're probably close in age, and I growing up in Brazil, I was a huge fan of Angra, the early stuff. Yeah, Andre
Yeah.
Matos,
That's
Angels Cry, Holy Land, all that
and
shit. And then through that, through that, I got into the European power metal, the Halloweens, the Stradivarius, Gamma Ray, and at that period of my life, like 96 through like 99, that's when I was 13, 14. That's when you're getting into music. And I really got into that. I really, I can't even say that I listen to a whole lot of that right now, but I did back then. That's
yeah.
all I listened to. Stradivarius was my number one favorite band, and all I wanted at that time was to start a band like that. But
Okay.
living in Brazil, I did grow. Unlike you, I did grow up in Brazil, and I mean, yeah, everyone wanted to play that kind of music at the time, but nobody really knew how to be like there's a big difference between playing an instrument and being an artist, and I just never found the people to do it. And
Where are you from? Which city did you grow? Which city?
I'm from Sao Paulo.
Ah, São Paulo.
So
Me too.
I had all the musicians available, everyone, but it's not. I never found the right guys. You know what I mean? And I mean, of course, this is back in the day. This is before the internet. It was a lot harder to find people, and I kind of, as time went by, that kind of music kind of died down. Like you said, even the bands that we like don't sound like that anymore. They're all trying to innovate and be different and all that. And I'm like, no, I want the fast choruses and the high pitched vocals. Like, what are you doing? But
I want the songs. Like I want a song
yeah,
that I can sing on my car and be like, wow, that's a cool song.
yeah.
That's
So over time, over time, I moved to America. I built a career. I played with everyone from David Vincent to U.D.O, Schneider, Doro, Savatage. I played with all these huge bands, but I never had my power metal band. It pissed me off. I'm like, really? I'm able to do all these big things, all these dreams that I had, but the band I wanted to start as a kid just never happened. I'm like, no, fuck that. Now I know everyone in the industry. I have all the studios available. I have all the producers available. I have everything that you need available. Now I can try to start my high school band again. So that's what
wow.
Northdale is, and I I was through 2017. I was touring a lot with Udo Dirkschneider. We're playing a lot of European festivals, and I started seeing, I saw Bloodbound, and I saw Twilight Force, and I saw I think Power Wolf. Whatever I did, I'm like, wait a second, people are starting to sing again. All the metalcore shit maybe dying down, and now there's power metal bands. So that's when I was like, wow, maybe I need to find one of these motherfuckers and start a band with. And that's why NORTHTALE is Swedish, because it's a bunch of Swedish people I met on tour.
Ah,
You
okay,
know.
okay.
But I'm sorry. I mean, I digressed a little bit, but I wanted to explain that what you're saying, reminding you of the old power metal, the old days of power metal. That's what I wanted to do. I didn't want to be original. I didn't want to break any new ground. I wanted to write an album that could have come out in '97. You know.
That's a good. No, no, that's a great explanation, especially because sometimes, especially these days, people looks like they are more focused on playing their instruments than to write cool songs.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
when I look for a new band, I mean, to me, I always care about the songs. I don't care on how okay, if the musicians are great, that's okay, but if the songs are shit, I don't care. In
Exactly.
your case, I found like I was impressed. Actually, you had a new singer from Sao Paulo, and the
Yes.
quality and the level was pretty impressive. So I would like to ask you, I mean, you play with many bands. You are now playing with former Divine Heresy bandmates, ex
Yes.
Divine Heresy.
Everyone
You
except Dino. Yeah.
except Dino. So I mean, you play like many kinds of music, many different styles of music. So how can you actually keep up with everything, since it's not all the same? I mean, I can imagine different tuning, different ways of playing. How can you manage to be good actually in all of those styles?
Well, I've that's a question I get a lot, and I could never pin down an answer because honestly I don't know. So what I figured out one of these days, that maybe that's my superpower. You know what I mean? Because I I to me it becomes muscle memory very easily. And like I've done this a few times when I'm touring with this one band, and then I have to fly out and play with a different band, and it's normally I Am Morbid and someone German. So it's
Okay.
it's like it's death metal to like very traditional metal, but for some reason I just get into the whole vibe. And it's funny because even some of my stage moves change too. I feel like I'm a
Okay.
different person every in every different band. Like the most extreme that happened was this past a couple weeks ago. I was on tour with NORTHTALE playing this guitar here, uh, which is very pink. I was playing this guitar in a power metal band, and David Vincent claims he's gonna break the guitar if he sees it. So
Okay. Okay. I can
uh,
imagine.
yeah, but he hasn't seen it yet. So um, I flew out to Denmark, which was fucking, not, it wasn't that far, but I flew out to Denmark to do one I Am Orbit show, no rehearsal, nothing.
Nothing.
We just fucking went for it, and it was awesome. But
But did you do like any preparation before, like the day before? You check the songs again. You go through them.
maybe I listened to it. I listened to it. I didn't. I can't say that I sat and practiced anything. No, not on
Wow.
this. Not in this particular case. But the NORTHTALE shit is very technically demanding. So my fingers were burning. Like I wasn't having really a hard time with with anything. Um, but it was the same in 2017. I was on tour with I Am Morbid and playing festivals with U.D.O and going from extreme blast beats to like balls to the wall, and somehow it worked. I don't know. I
Wow.
honestly I can't explain. Also, maybe because I play guitar, a lot of the shit is similar. It's like people say it's a lot different. Well, you know maybe stylistically and all, but at the end of the day, you're still writing the E string and playing different notes and playing power chords.
Even if the tuning is different, you say
Yeah,
you just.
exactly. It's still power chord and fast picking and shredding. It's just how you do it. In death metal is at 240, in power metal is at 160, but it's
160.
kind of the same thing.
And yeah, because my question would be like about remembering without rehearsing. I always find out. I mean, a couple of times it happened to me also to be like touring with two bands at the same time, and I always have this weird. I mean, I went through it, but I always felt like my mind needed a little more time to get into it. So that's why I was asking you.
Yeah, man, I swear, I wish I had a better answer, but I don't know.
Wow,
It
that's
just
no, it's cool.
happens like that.
I always like to hear different opinions, to see how people deal with it. So
Yeah,
the next question is about your practice routine. I mean, for somebody like you who has like 15 million songs to keep up with, do you have time to practice different stuff than your songs? And how do you like? How can you build like a practice routine before a tour or for something else?
yeah, that I'm very, very, very meticulous with. So this I am morbid situation, I told you I didn't practice before, but we're gonna go now on a new tour with a different set list. And then I have this thing, I have to play like 2 weeks out. I start playing the set list at least once a day. Most days I do it twice, and and when I say the set list, I mean the entire thing, like with breaks, with whatever solo is. Like I practice the show, not just the song. Um, and I'm very meticulous with that. So when we go out in August with I Am Morbid, by the time I hit the rehearsal studio, I should know everything because I never want to be a problem. I never want to be the guy that is making the band wait so I can learn a part. So that's what I demand of myself. Now, as far as practicing other shit, just like at the gym, I'm a guy of the basics. Like I practice. For example, I play a lot of like fast picking shred stuff. So I have this Frank Gambale videos from the 90s. It's called Chop Builder. And he, it's all the simple shapes that every guitar player plays. But I go through that every day. Like I want to keep the chops up, even if it is the same C major scale shape, the same everything. People tend to overlook how important that shit is. And like piano players play scales all day. I don't know why guitar players don't think that's cool. You know, so I'll do the major scale like a whole octave on the neck and come back, and then I'll do the same thing again, but now I'm starting on the second 16th note. Same thing, but now with the beat off. Like this kind of stuff I think helps a lot, for sense of timing, for technique, for staying, for your chops to stay up. And another thing I like to do a lot is smoke a bowl, put out a backing track, and just jam.
Just jam.
Yeah, just improvise. I like doing that a lot too, especially when I learn some new lick and I don't know what to do with it. It happens a lot. I'll see someone play a new lick and I want to do it. I'm like, oh, how the fuck can I use it on my playing? So I just put a backing track and I keep trying to fit it into the time.
Okay, nice, cool.
Yeah.
So, what you said so something about the gym. I saw your story. Like you lost many kilos and you are in a very good shape. Congratulations.
Thank you.
How do you mix this with a practice schedule? For example, you have to learn the songs, you have to practice the songs, and you go to the gym. So how is your day like in order to be able to do all these things? Plus answering the emails, organizing the tours for NORTHTALE, and so on.
Oh, dude, no, I fuck up all of that. I fuck up my schedule. I'm terrible at everything.
Okay.
I rely on my wife to do a lot of shit for me. But the stuff like playing guitar and the gym, I can manage. So if I'm going on, I mentioned a little bit ago that I try to play the set list twice every day. So normally I'll do one time, then go to the gym and come back and do it again. So it's one big thing, and then the time I'm at the gym, I'm not really thinking about it. Now the gym it has become an integral part of my life, and I think that without working out, without being in shape, I couldn't manage some of this shit. This even the airport. Even the airports carrying a bunch of shit and constant travel and getting in bed on a tour bus and getting off bed. I just toured with a bunch of people that I'm watching like struggle to get off their bed and the tour bus, and I'm jumping off of mine. So I think that the gym, being in shape helps with everything. Yeah, sure, you look better, but that's like the least thing. Like you get more motivated. You wanna do things. I don't know. It
I completely agree with you because I had the same thing 1 year ago. I switched my life. I went back to the gym and I never stopped, and I feel great.
yeah, and then everything else works, right?
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like
yeah. Because it's like this is what we have to do. We have to take care of ourselves. Then everything will be. What
yeah.
about your gym schedule? You made me curious. Like you said about the basics. So you like, what's your routine? Like you have a push pull leg, or you have a 5 day split?
Exactly. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I don't mess around with complicated shit. I don't do, like I have a chest, like I do chest, front delts, and triceps, which I did today. On day one, day two, I do back delts and biceps, and day three is like legs and abs. And and the kind of exercise I do is bench press, fucking dumbbell flies,
Okay. It's
incline
the it's
press. There's
the
Yeah, very very basic, because I've been working out now off and on for like 10-15 years, and
wow.
of
Okay.
everything that I read online, that I've tried, the basics always work the best. Like, oh, you gotta switch your routine, you gotta do this, you gotta do that. None of that. That's all bullshit. I go, I bench press, I do dumbbell flies. I also, one thing that I've been doing the past year and a half, no matter what, is I walk about 6 miles a day every day, even if whether or not I'm on tour. Like, I haven't missed one day. You know.
Wow, 6 miles. How
Yeah,
many
yeah.
kilometers? Like eight
It's, yeah, 8-9 kilometers. Yeah,
every day.
every day. And I can run if I want, or walk if I want. It's basically like around my house, around my entire neighborhood is what it is. So I put on my phone and I saw the distance. So whenever I'm in a different city on tour, I'll do that in the city, especially if
Yeah,
I know the place.
cool, cool.
Yeah, man, that keeps your cardio up. It's not super hard to do. I'm not trying to sprint. I'm not trying to run up the stairs. Just walk. Walk, or maybe sprint a little bit. But that alone helps you a lot too.
That's cool. Thank you for those informations.
Yeah, man.
Next question is about moving from Brazil and going to the US. And I mean,
Yeah.
it's not easy for a Brazilian guy to have a green card and go to the US and be able actually to establish himself like you did. So how was this decision? How did you, because São Paulo is a big city. I mean,
Yes.
it's not like you were living on I don't know, in Cabo Frio, and so you were like in a big city where many things happens already, but maybe
Yeah.
they weren't enough for you.
Yeah. I mean, man, it's so for your listeners and your viewers that aren't from Brazil. It's almost like there is a system meant to keep musicians away from becoming professional in metal. The way, I mean, I know all this that I'm saying. I'm
Yeah, please, please.
contextualizing for your listeners. So, to put this in context, Brazil works the opposite way that Sweden works. In Sweden, they want to nurture their talent, make them big there, and show it to the world. This is why like Sabaton will sell as many tickets as Iron Maiden in Sweden, not outside of Sweden. In Sweden, Hammerfall will fill up arenas in Sweden. You know what I mean? Brazil works the exact way around, the other way around. Your talent means nothing to people because you're from there, and I figured that out very quickly. I figured that out when I was about 15. And I saw all these great bands that people didn't give a shit about, because they were listening to that one band, that everybody pushes, and and so when I figured that out, I'm like, I'm not gonna waste any time here. This is stupid. This is never gonna work. So I decided when I was 15 or 16 that I was gonna leave Brazil, or I wasn't gonna try to be a musician at all. I was just gonna have a job or whatever. So I wanted to go to either Europe. I thought about Germany a lot, or to the States. Now, I spoke English, not as good as I thought I did, but I spoke English, and I figured the culture was a little closer. So, but the problem is, in the US, there's really no power metal, and that's, as I said, that's kind of what I was trying to do at that time. But I just started looking online. At the time, it was MySpace, and I found this band named Celador that was just signed to Metal Blade Records. That happened in 2005, and on their news, like on their MySpace page, there was like Celador signs with Metal Blade Records, and then right above, right below, Celador is looking for a guitarist. And
Wow.
yeah, I was like, oh shit, like that's a band on a label. That's awesome. Let me write these guys, and they wrote me back and they're like, thank you, but we already have someone, and we have someone local to us. These guys are fucking in Nebraska. So I'm like, you know what, dude? Unless you have Steve Vai in your band right now, I'm a much better choice. You should give me a chance. I literally said that. And he's like, oh, so you're that good. And, here's your learn these songs or whatever. He gave me 4 songs to learn. And dude, I spent the next 12 fucking hours learning those songs. And I didn't even like them. I thought they were terrible. But,
Wow. Okay. So,
but the thing is, I wanted a chance to come to America, and I didn't want to come as a tourist. I knew that was illegal, like I didn't want to do anything illegal. I didn't want to do anything wrong. And I knew so many people that did, and didn't work out for them. So I'm like, I have to find something, and even my parents they were supportive of the move, but they weren't like, they're like, well, but you got to figure something to do there. We can't, just send you and keep paying. So anyway, long story short, I sent the thing back. I got the audition, and then I let the band know I was in Brazil. And then that's when they were like, oh, fuck that, like, what do you mean Brazil? I don't even think they knew where Brazil was. It was funny. Like what the fuck, like Brazil, Texas, what?
oh shit.
And,
Okay. So they went. That's kind of American.
yeah,
Like,
yeah, exactly. And I'm like, no, you know what, guys? Let's do this. Let me come for an audition. Let me come in for an audition. I'll come on my dime. I'll come in for an audition. If you guys like me, you can hire me. If you don't, then I'll come back to Brazil. No harm, no foul. And basically I went and did the audition. I got the gig, and I lived in Omaha for the next 3 years of my life. My career actually began, because I was just trying to stay in the country, but the band actually had a lot of investment from the label. We were fucking idiots. Like we were not ready. We were like, oh,
the story of
yeah.
many bands I've been with.
Yeah. I was like, I was like 20. I think I was 21, and I was the oldest guy in the band. So we weren't ready. Yeah, but we went out with Bullet for My Valentine for our first tour. Like their headliner in the U.S., we were supporting.
Wow.
We went out with Trivium for their Crusade tour, and then we went out with All That Remains for the Fall of Ideals tour, and we were gonna go out with Arch Enemy to Japan, but the band imploded before that. So,
Okay, so you could really meet many people. You could
dude, Brian Slagle, the guy who discovered Metallica, like he loved us. We were his baby band. He was dragging us around to Ozfest and introducing us to people. These are my new boys.
Serious?
Dude, we messed up. He took us to a party. Brian, if you're watching this, I told this story many times, but I'm sorry, Brian. He took us to a party where an after party at Ozfest, and he had like burned Celador CDs that he was handing out to people and being like, this is my new band. This is the band I'm pushing right now. Me and the other guitarist got so drunk we got kicked out of the bar. So, and that was a constant thing. That was a constant thing.
No, you were 21, so I can.
Yeah. On our first tour, with Bullet for My Valentine, they gave us so much money. Like it was like 25 grand tour support for a band to go out. Are you fucking
serious? These days, no, these days, this is fucking.
Doesn't. I mean, I just had to fucking, no, it doesn't exist
anymore.
But dude, it was a lot of tour support that we just drank, that we just fucking spent on expensive hotels because we were idiots. And when I say us, it's all 5 of us. The thing is, I used to stand on the box and be like, these guys are all fucking stupid. They don't know what they're doing. No, but it was me too, And I mean, that's a burned bridge right there because of that. But anyway, that was the beginning of my life in America. You know,
Well,
like
that's
that's when I discovered the festivals. That's when I discovered how labels work. That's when I discovered that drinking isn't cool. It took me a couple of years to stop, but you know,
I
and
see you started like 10 years ago. You really,
I quit. Yeah, I quit January 1st of 2012.
so not even a single beer, nothing.
Not a drop. No, not since then. This that
Wow.
I'm telling you though with Celador, that's 6 years prior.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
a
Okay.
bottle of vodka a day every day. You know, that's
Wow.
dude. I was bad. I was really bad, and I wanted to get in shape. You know, I had to change my life. But there's burnt bridges from that time that are never coming back. You know,
Yeah, of
including
course.
including that I've run into Brian Slagle. He knows exactly who I am. He doesn't give a shit. You know,
Okay, so
so
he's still mad at you.
I mean, he just doesn't want to talk to me. He's whatever.
Uh,
Hi, Bill. You know, like
I understand. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
I get it. I get it. He's. I mean, he's seen me be a fucking moron. You know, so I get it.
But you
I've
were
tried.
21, so let's
Yeah,
see. Maybe you will
yeah.
have a chance. You know, everybody.
I
I
mean,
mean,
there's other
everybody
people.
fuck. When
Yeah,
you were 20, 21, who the fuck was doing good
yeah,
things? No one.
yeah,
Especially, I remember with my band, we were touring and doing the same. So
yeah, dude. It's
we went to the fucking Nuclear Blast label, and I didn't give a shit about talking with the owner. I was like playing video games and having free beer, and the guy was there, and we were invited to the Nuclear Blast offices to talk about it, and I just let my guitar player talk about it, and I didn't give a shit. I was like, so I can understand. So
yeah. That shit comes back to you,
yeah,
man.
hopefully,
but
I mean, 21. Who
but it's because of shit like that that I stopped drinking and decided to
okay,
get in shape. You know, but
okay. That's at the end. It was a very positive thing.
yeah, I mean, it showed me all the ropes of the industry. It showed me, dude, I used to think I was the best guitar player in the world when I lived in Brazil, and then I got here and I'm like, oh no, I actually suck compared to people that can actually play, you
Wow.
know. So that was eye opening too. So all the lessons I had to learn came from this band, you know, like
Okay.
all the shit I didn't go through in Brazil, I went through in
Yeah.
America. But
Yeah.
that's how I ended up here.
That's a very good things to see things in life. You always learn from your
Of
mistakes.
course.
So you were a good guitar player, a very good guitar player in Brazil. I read somewhere, were you a student of Kiko
Yeah,
Loureiro? Is it
yeah,
true?
yeah.
Oh, where?
He
Souza Lima?
yes.
I
In
went there. I studied there. I had a couple of lessons in that school too.
Oh, that's good. That
With
was 1997.
okay, no,
Or
I had a couple of years later. The Mestre Dinho Gonçalves, the old samba
oh,
teacher.
I remember yeah, he had the African beat thing.
Yeah, 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 exactly. It was that. So
He
you were his student, and so when you moved to the US, you were already playing good, I guess. You got an audition. You
I
were
thought I did. I thought I did, but when there was I lacked maturity. Like when I listen to that album from this band I'm talking about, I listen. I'm like, how was I so cocky? Because I really thought it was good. I told you,
okay.
I told the band, I'm like, unless you have Steve Vai, I'm a better choice. I thought like that, but then I listened to the album. I'm like, like I can't really, I wasn't that
Really?
good.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes we all know that being actually confident is a very good way to show
Oh,
to a
dude,
band.
yeah.
That's the best thing.
Fake it
If you,
till you make it. That's my fucking life. That's my
I think
life, dude.
the same thing happened to me where like
Yeah.
I got an audition for Ice Dirt because the guy called me and said like, do you know the material? I said, yeah, of course I know. And he was like, in how much time can you learn a song? This song. I was like, yeah, a couple of hours. And the song was like 14 minutes long. I didn't know shit about the song. So I spent the whole night learning it. So I know how it is. But sometimes you have to say yes, right? Sometimes you have to say,
Always, dude. Always. Can you learn this song? Yeah. Dude, I now play keyboards in Doro's band. You know what I
are
mean?
you
Like,
fucking
yeah.
serious?
Because I mean, of course, I went to music school. I had to learn piano in college, but I had never played live with a band. And I got this Doro filling gig at Prog Power a couple years ago, and there was a keyboard song, and they told me there was no track. They were gonna cut the song because of me. I'm like, no, 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 don't cut anything because of me. Oh, we never played with you. Fuck it, give me the song, I'll learn it. And I learned it on piano, and the first time I played was at Prague Power Festival, and now I play it every show. So yeah, dude,
Wow.
I whatever the gig demands, you have to do, man. Whatever it
Okay,
is.
I understand. The same thing happened to me where I had the band I play now, Crippled Bastards. They were playing a show in my hometown, in a friends of mine club, and I was going to attend the show, And the day after, the drummer canceled due to an injury. And they were like, well, nobody will ever learn the songs in one day. I said, I can do it. But
Ah, dude.
but yeah, but it was like the worst thing. I mean, the best thing for my career. But I mean, sometimes you say yes, you don't even think about how much work will it take. So
But
I
you're still in the
completely,
band, right?
yeah, yeah, 8 years. I toured Japan twice. I've been
Fuck
to
yeah.
the US. No, no, my life changed due to this decision. So I completely agree with you.
Dude, it was
So
the same thing with Morbid for me too. I
yeah,
had
okay,
never
how
fucking
was it?
played
How
that.
was it? How was it?
So before, so right as I quit Celador, Metal Blade, they were still talking to me a little bit, and Mike Faley, the president, actually told me, "Hey, Morbid Angel is looking for a guitarist." I had no idea who Morbid Angel was.
No
I'm like,
way. Are
I'm
you
like,
serious?
yeah, I'm like, okay, like he's like, well, here's their manager's email. I'm like, all right, and I went and I listened to it, and I'm like, uh, I don't know what I think of this, but I wrote, I'm interested, blah blah blah, and David responded, and he David himself responded, and he said, well, I would like to hear you play these two songs, Rapture and Pain Divine. And now,
Ah,
now that I actually played those songs, I'm like, holy shit, man! He threw that at me, but I
wow.
didn't, dude, I didn't even know how the guitar was tuned. I had no idea, no clue.
Plus, you were going
But
to
I
replace
did.
like an icon that the
That's
Morbid
the
Angel
thing. That's the
sound.
thing. And the Celador album had been produced by Eric Rutan, who was in Morbid
Okay,
Angel.
sure, Eric Rutten.
So I made a connection. I'm like, oh, that's the band our producer was in. Holy shit, Then I started taking the idea seriously. And but anyway, I made a demo. I made a video, and David liked it. But I think to this day, I think he just liked me because like the video, I wasn't playing that good. And I had a show in Florida a couple weeks later, and he came to that show and watched me play. And at the end of the show, he told me, "Yeah, you're not the guy we're looking for. You're definitely not." Like that was like he's straight up to my face.
Are you
And
serious?
yeah, he's like, "Yeah, we're like I like you, like know that you can play, but you're not the guy we're looking for. Trey won't like you. You just won't work." And
Okay, because we are talking about Morbid
Morbid
Angel,
Angel, that's
not
still
I
from
am.
Morbid Angel.
Of course, I know, no, of course, yeah,
Oh
okay, now I
no,
understand.
yeah, I am Morbid comes way after.
Okay,
So
now I understand. I understand.
but me and David stayed in touch. We stayed in touch as friends. We wrote some music together too, which I hope one day we release because we have like some pretty good songs.
Already
And
recorded?
yeah, but it's not really death metal. It's a little different. It's metal. There's some stuff that kind of sound like Pantera. There's other stuff that's very thrashy. It's
Okay.
cool, but we never released it. But anyway, so in I think it was 2017, he had this offer, to do some Morbid Angel songs, and at the time it was to fly down to Brazil and get musicians there and play with him. And he's like, I don't think that that's gonna work. And I was like, well, in Brazil it's a pretty common thing, and it generally doesn't work that good, so it's definitely not gonna work for Morbid. And he's like, why don't we start a band? Let's do it. And I'm like, yeah. And it was, and at first it was me, him, and Tim,
Tim
Tim,
Young.
Tim Young. Yeah, because he had also left Morbid Angel. And
Yeah, well, it was that period where everybody left Morbid Angel
yeah,
except
and
Trey.
our very first other guitar player would have been Rob from Cannibal Corpse, who
Oh,
who
cool.
I was jamming with doing covers, and David is really good friends with. But it didn't work out because of his schedule. We ended up with Ira Black. But yeah, so I am Morbid, kind of like I am the only other founding member, I guess. But it came from my audition with Morbid
From Morbid
Angel,
Angel.
which I had no idea who they were when the audition came. So life works in very interesting ways because I am Morbid now is like my fucking, it's
Mm,
the love of my life. I love touring with that band. I love David. I love Pete. I brought Richie into the band, because
okay,
he was already my friend. So like it's literally me going and jamming with my friends. That's how I am
that's
Morbid
cool.
feels. It's fucking awesome.
I'll be honest with you, I was really impressed by the show in Sao Paulo. I'm a big fan of Pete Sandoval. I mean, I'm a huge fan of Pete. So Pete Sandoval for me is God. But when
Me
I was
too.
like, but when I was like, he's 50. When I went to the show in Sao Paulo, I was like, he's 58. He's been through many injuries. So to me, even if if he would like slow the songs down and play them. To me, would be everything cool anyway. And he fucking kicked my ass. I was like,
Oh,
this
dude.
guy's a fucking lair. How the fuck can he plays like that after all the shit he's been through? That's my question. How the I mean, dude, he wasn't even able to walk properly a couple of years ago.
That's his superpower, you know, just being Pete. That's what I say,
Wow.
man. It's crazy. I when I went to jam with him for the first time, it was just me. Like David lives in Texas, so
Okay,
I
okay.
went and he's like, "Hey, man, I don't remember the song so well. You probably know him better." Like, what are you talking about? And then he started playing. I'm like, "What do you mean you don't know the songs?" Like, it was perfect, you know.
Okay.
And
It's
there's
legendary. The way he plays is fucking
dude,
unique, man.
and,
Those songs.
and the thing is, there's a lot of little detail guitar that I used to play a certain way with Tim, and now with Pete in the band, I play different because Pete plays it different.
Of course,
So
yeah.
there's a
But
lot of that,
I
you know.
love I love Tim Young. I believe Tim Young is an excellent. It's an amazing drummer. The thing is, Pete is Morbid Angel. That's the only
Exactly.
because he created that kind of.
It sounds
I
like
mean,
the album. You hear him
yeah, yeah,
play,
yeah. I
it's
was
like
like
the album.
nobody. I mean, I was like when I saw them live, you live, I was like, this is impressive. The way he plays, still do the, I love the way he moves the blast beat, like going up and down.
It's
All the
yeah, the kick is taku kaku kaku kaku.
yeah,
It's
yeah. I
not
love.
just the same
No, no,
volume.
no, no. I love it. I love it. And the way the feels, everything. I love him. So
Yeah, man.
I was really impressed.
Yeah, no.
And so you I didn't know you were you auditioned for Morbid Angel. I'm learning many things about you, man.
Oh
And what
yeah,
about
wait, that's not something I only I talk in interviews, but we never like it's not on my bio or anything.
okay, okay, okay? Because I remember that period. They were changing like millions of people. There was a moment where like you didn't know who was in the band.
Yeah, this was 2008 when I did this audition.
Okay. Next question. Actually, then there are a couple of questions from people here because people are sending me also messages. Hey, I have questions here. Okay, wait a second. We will answer everybody. Um, so my next question is, what about Doro? Because then I want to know. Okay, it was after I Am Morbid.
Yeah, yeah. Doro was a total. It was very random. Well, first of all, um, I was I've been really really good friends with the members of her band since 2013 when we met at a Full Metal Cruise, one of these metal
Okay.
boats. You know,
Yeah.
it was in Germany. No, actually, it was in Europe. Whatever. I was playing with Circle to Circle, and I met Boss and Johnny and Nick and those guys, and I became really good friends with them. And I saw the show and all, but I we never talked about me being in the band. But then I joined U.D.O Schneider in 2017, and they are close bands. We did a couple shows together. I was doing the Accept shows with U.D.O, so they did a couple shows together. And I had some time off in Europe. This time off, I would spend actually sleeping at Boss's place in the Netherlands. My guitarist with Doro, so we've been close since before. And anyway, so a couple years ago, Chris Caffrey, who is the Savatage guitarist here in the
Okay.
Trans-Siberian Orchestra, he was gonna play a show with Doro here in America at Prague Power, and he got into an accident. Maybe it was like 4 days before the show or something. It was like something close like that. And I got one of those calls. Can you learn fucking 40 songs in a day? Yeah, but it was like it wasn't 40 songs in a day, but it was like her whole set list in like 4 days, including the
Wow.
piano thing I told you.
Yeah. No,
So
no. It's a lot of
so
work,
so
man.
yeah. So I learned it. I already knew the band. I was already comfortable hanging out with them. There was no, weirdness at all. And I did the show and basically got the job kind of forever from there.
Okay,
The,
because he never went back to the band.
Chris was only doing the US, but her guitarist Luca from Italy, Luca Princiotta, I don't know if you know who he is, but
I know the name. Well, I know, don't know personally.
he was in the band for like 13 years or something, and but he wasn't playing the US for some reason. So he had a child and decided that he didn't want to tour as much anymore, so he left and I came in then.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, it was maybe a year or two after Prague Power, and I went with her to Russia, also as a fill-in. So I started filling in, and
I
now
can
I'm in the
understand.
band.
And how can you deal? I mean, when all those bands, we are talking about live bands and bands that have like a touring cycle or many shows. How can you manage? Because, for example, I had the things with two bands touring at the same time, and it was a nightmare. But
Mhm.
for you, how? I mean, I can imagine. So, I Am Morbid is your priority since you're a former band, or not, or is Doro your priority?
Well, I mean, between the two of them, I would say more I am morbid because I've been in the band for longer. But one thing with playing in two bands is communication, because like I have a couple of scheduling conflicts that I'm dealing with right now. Like I have a big show with I am morbid on the first in Slovenia, and a big show with Doro on the second in Germany. So it's hard to manage these things. You need to communicate. So what I do is, whoever books first, I show the other band the schedule. I'm like, so I'm not, on these dates here, I can't do anything.
Okay, okay, okay.
Like Dora knows in August when I'm out with I Am Morbid, I can't do anything then. It's blocked out. And there's some other dates now that I just gave them. But Doro has Luca. Doro has
Ah,
other
okay, so
guitar
Luca.
players.
Okay, when you
Yeah.
can't, Luca goes back. Ah, that's cool.
Right, right. Luca has done a couple of shows that I couldn't be there already, including the shows when I was in Brazil. Because when I was in Brazil with I Am Morbid and Dora was touring Germany, I
Ah, okay,
couldn't.
okay. So
And
that's cool for you. We
yeah.
have a question here about gear. It says use camper in studio, but live, what do you use? What amplifiers? What pedals? Do you use?
So yeah, only ESP, right?
Yes.
So yes, I play exclusively ESP guitars. I have many of them back here. It's pretty dark, but hold on, hold on. I'm gonna light the room that way I can show my guitars.
Okay. Okay.
I hope I didn't make anybody blind. Give me a second. All right, is this better? Yes. So I got all these back here and some more in Germany.
Wow. Okay. Okay.
Obviously, I've been playing and endorsing ESP guitars for 11 years now. I've been there since 2012. Um, Now, as
What do you
far
have in Germany? Like you have a like gate to hell, a place where you leave your stuff. You have a home. You have a studio.
the Doro has her own warehouse,
Ah. Okay. Okay.
so all the Doro gears just stays there.
Stay
I
there.
have I have a red V that she really likes that's out there, and I have like what else do I have? I have two more, like a black Eclipse. I don't even remember, to be honest. And but yeah, only ESP. Actually, I want to show this. This is the 10 years ago, of course, but that was the catalog cover of ESP for NAMI in
Ah. Okay.
2013.
That's
Yeah, I have
cool.
a really, really, really long and good relationship with them. That's why they made my signature guitar, which,
The
I mean,
pink
this
one.
is yeah, this is the love of my life right now.
It's a very beautiful one.
Yeah, it's got my name here.
It's
So,
cool.
um, but yeah, as far as other gear, goes, the camper I use because it's easy. So anytime I can choose anything else other than the camper, I will. So with I Am Morbid, we use the camper, but we run it through real amps, through the Marshall TSL 2000. So it's not direct.
Okay.
With Doro, it's completely old school. Doro, we have a Marshall that she owns, and I use what do I use? I use like a solo boost and delay together. That's called the Professor. I forget what it's called, or the brand is. And I use like a tube screamer and a noise gate, like very very simple.
Simple.
Yeah, and uh, what else? For NORTHTALE, it was all digital. Like on this NORTHTALE tour, though, I went all digital with the camper and no cabs using in
Okay.
ears. And honestly, I wasn't a fan of it. I don't want to do that again.
No, you didn't.
No, it was the way the entire tour ran. But my drummer plays too loud, so fucking there's no guitar ever. you know.
But not even on stage, or
No, I mean you have the wedges or whatever, but I
yeah.
was in ears. Like I had I
Okay,
had good monitoring, but I watched the videos and the guitar is so weak. Like
I
there's
can
no oof.
understand. No,
So
yeah, yeah, no body, no bones.
yeah, but I mean honestly, man, I have so much gear. I have so many different things. I just use whatever the gig needs. Like whatever. If it's a flying gig and I don't have a lot of space in my bag, I'll put a couple pedals together, a little power amp, and go.
And you will make it.
Yeah, and then my camper, has become my carry-on. You know, like this thing has
Okay,
the camper and the paddleboard inside, so I travel with that thing. It's very easy.
okay, perfect. So we hope we reply to the question of this guy.
Yeah,
About, let's get back about to NORTHTALE. You had a lot of changes in the lineup, and
well, not a
especially
lot, just one big one.
just sorry, just what I wanted to say. Like changing the singer is always a big issue. So, how was actually the transition to a new singer? How was it? Because I can imagine the old singer was very very good also. And we are discussing. I can imagine how you felt when he left or he decided to leave or
Well, to be honest, I started NORTHTALE, like I said, it was an idea, and I started with a bunch of Swedish people, including a very good Swedish singer named Christian Eriksson, who he used to be in a band called Twilight Force, and then he quit that band, and that's when I invited him to start a band with me. And until Christian came in, it was just demos. When he came in, I'm like, all right, now we have a band. Because he brought the bass player, he brought the drummer, he brought everyone in. Well, I brought the keyboard player in, but he brought the bass player and the drummer, and we started working really good. Me and him together, we have the same ideas. He would send me a message, "Hey, I had this song idea." I'm like, "Wow, I like it. I have something similar. Let's work on it." And it was all very good. It was all very good. We did a big show in Sweden at Sabaton Open Air as our first show, and then we went to Japan and we played 2 shows in Japan. It was awesome, but he kind of freaked out. I mean, he like his attitude changed, and he started wanting to like just write his songs and not listen to my songs, and famous lead singer disease, and
everybody knows it.
yeah, it just got to a point where I was like, dude, honestly, man, if you don't like my songs, and I fucking definitely don't like your songs, then we shouldn't be working together because we're trying to do two different things. And I wanted to bring in that Brazilian song and stuff, and he had no idea what that was. Like, what the fuck.
Okay,
So it was just better to part ways. Now,
okay, understand.
when that happened, I was like, okay, I don't think that I can replace this guy. Like, I honestly didn't think I could. I was like, I'm gonna have to because his old band, in my opinion, also failed to replace him properly. Like as good as they are, Twilight Force, I don't think that they replace him with the right guy. So and I was like, I think I'm gonna end up doing kind of the same and just getting whoever is that good. But
Okay, now I know the band Twilight Force. I knew them. They were dressed like okay, I know them.
like
Okay,
elves.
yeah, okay, okay.
Yeah, but they're awesome guys. It's like Daniel is a really good friend of mine, and like I've actually become closer to those guys after Christian left my band because then we had that in common, I guess.
Okay.
But anyway, I thought that I was fucked. I didn't think I was gonna find the right singer, and I started doing auditions, and I seriously listened to like 35, 40 people. It was a lot, you know, Every
I can imagine 35, and I'm surely a bunch of them were good.
dude, yeah, that's the thing. Every power metal thing singer that you can think that's right now, I tried. And they all were good. And I'm like, all right, well, that doesn't help because this guy's in this band. This guy, I wanted to find someone that wasn't known in another band. Because that was the thing. Everyone that I tried was in another band that's bigger, and we were going to be the side project. I didn't want that. So, but then I was ready to hire actually a guy from Italy. And he also has his band and all that, but he was the best, and he's kind of super nice guy. I was ready to hire him. And then I got a message from this random dude from Brazil. Hey man, I heard you're doing auditions, I would like to try. And I was like, oh man, I just hired someone. Actually, I was in the process of like just flying that guy here. And I'm like,
Wow. So it was
yeah,
like, oh, okay, okay. So it was already
yeah,
okay,
yeah.
okay.
It was kind of a done deal. And I was like, yeah, man, I found someone, but thank you, whatever. I tried. And he wrote me back and he's like, you know what? Even if there's 1% chance that I can get this, I want to try. And they reminded me what I said to Salvador fucking 15 years before. And I'm like, all right, dude. And then I want to hear you sing. So I sent him a bunch of songs and he sent me videos. And he was so much better than everybody else. Like, not better. I mean, better is relative, but he was so much more of
Beating.
what I wanted.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
Because I wanted someone who liked Andre Matos. Like that was a big
That's
thing.
what I wanted to tell you. That's
That
what
was
because
that,
it reminds me of Andre.
that dude. I mean, none of the European guys got it. They were good. They were, they could sing Halloween and Stradivarius. They had all that. They're Swedish. I don't want to mention names, but I had some very good singers. But
Oh.
whenever I brought up Andre Matos, they'll be like, "Oh yeah, the Angra guy." I was like, "No, I need to say Andre Matos, and you know exactly why I want you."
Yeah, the typical.
And,
Yeah,
and that's the way it is with Guilherme. He knows, like we get a lot more comparison to Kiski than Andre Matos. Like to people that don't know who Andre is, like
okay,
Kiski.
that's interesting because
Yeah,
Angra wasn't that big in Europe. I mean, they were big, but I know this from Riccardo Confessori. They were big in some
yeah,
countries, like in Italy, they were very big.
yeah.
For
In
maybe
France.
Italy, yes, and but maybe Italy was one of their biggest markets
Yeah, yeah,
because in
yeah.
Italy they were fucking. I remember when I went to have lessons with Riccardo Confessori, I thought he was a millionaire because in Italy the band was so. He was like, no, no, dude, you're getting this very wrong.
Well, down in Brazil, there is to this day there is enough push to the name that people think they're celebrities. Like they are like the regular Brazilian person sees the members in Angra just the same way they see someone in a telenovela. It's
Wow.
very it's that crazy down there still to this day. If everybody quit the band, they hire all new people and call it Angra, it will fucking sell out 4,000 people
Yeah,
anywhere.
I see. Because the band right now, it's like
Yeah, it
Kiko's
doesn't.
not there. Fabio Leone it's not Angra. I'm
Yeah,
sorry, I
it's
don't want to be disrespectful, but it's like
no, and those guys are good friends of mine, and they know I feel that way. But
yeah, it's
even
like
if they all quit, and they put all new people and call it Angra, it will
individual.
sell the same.
Well,
It's that.
what I saw is like Edu Falaschi is doing like now a very good thing with his name now.
Yeah, exactly.
Actually, Edu is able to and Edu now. Okay, now Edu's band to me looks like more Angra than Angra for
because
something.
because it is because it is. You know?
It's Brazilian.
Yeah, and Edu is also really close with us. We're going to Japan together in September. Edu has been a friend of mine for like 20 years or something. I love what he's doing right now.
Yeah,
But
great, great.
but I mean, he's playing exactly what the average Brazilian metalhead wants to hear.
Yeah, I know.
Exactly
He
down
was
to the T. It's a science. It's incredible. Like I'm like, dude, it's like take everything they want to hear. That's
yeah,
that's what
very good.
he's doing.
Plus, they did the
Yeah,
tour
yeah.
playing the
It's
classic Angra tunes.
mhm.
Like they played the Nova Era, the Rebirth, and the Temple of Shadow stuff. People gets crazy. But
Yeah,
as I said, I have a sorry. We kind of lost a little bit. I want to get back to your singer and, for
yeah.
example, the song "The Land of Mystic Rice."
That's what
This is
got him hired.
okay, because that's what I wanted to ask you is like no European can understand. Actually, because I was hearing the song and I was like, wow, that's pretty good. Then when I got into the solo and
No,
the
the
Luis Gons,
Casablanca, yeah.
I was like, wow. I mean, what European guy can understand? I mean, you congratulations for that.
Thanks,
So
man.
it looks like really a Brazilian cultural thing. So how can an European get it? So that's my question. Would
They
be very
probably won't. They probably
okay.
won't. That's the truth. When I did it, I thought about all the Swedish bands that use their melodies and goes over people's heads. It just sounded like something that could have been very metal, but also speaks to the Brazilians. Every night on this tour, when we played that, I knew exactly who was from Brazil because they would all
Really?
come up front, and yeah, it was very interesting. If
Wow.
nobody moved, there's no Brazilians here. It
Wow.
was very, and yeah, it was very interesting. We only played that song for half of the tour. I wish we did it more because there was a lot of Brazilian people every night.
I can see
Um,
many Brazilian people are writing in your in the posts of the
Man,
band.
it's
That's
blowing
pretty
my
cool.
mind. Yeah, it
That's
really
fun.
is blowing
I
my
mean,
mind.
you can really be the. I hope for you the next Angra.
Yeah,
The comments are very impressive, and I can see the record came a couple of years ago, but now the band is getting bigger. Am I right? I have this
you.
feeling.
Yeah, you're right because it came out a couple years ago, but we didn't tour, and there's word to mouth too. Word to mouth because I've been on a couple of the Brazilian podcasts that people listen to, so they hear it. And the truth is, if you like Angra back in the day and you're not that happy what they do now, it's very likely that you like our band. It's kind of
That's me, and that's
yeah.
a friend of mine who I sent a video. It was like, dude, where the fuck did you find those guys? I think check them out. So I really think that the songwriting is very good.
I
So I have a
appreciate it, man.
question about the songwriting and the
Mhm.
songwriting process. So right now, how is the band located? You are in Orlando. You have a drummer from Sweden. Where is your bass player?
But the bass player lives in Sweden,
Okay.
but my drummer is Swedish but lives here in Florida. He's only
Oh,
like
okay.
three
So you
hours
are
from.
close.
Yeah, well, relatively, U.S. close, I would say. I can drive to him in about 3 hours.
Okay.
And
And the singer is in Brazil.
the singer, which is the bane of my existence. I wish I could get that guy out of there. Oh, they
How old
makes
is he?
he's 32, I want to say.
Nice young. Okay.
31, 30. Yeah, he's pretty young. He's he's just everyone that matters in business in Europe has told me the same thing. Like, oh, that guy has a future. Like
Wow, that's
yeah, like
dude.
yeah, like people in the industry told me confidentially. There's a friend of mine. I'm not gonna mention his name because he's gonna come across as an asshole. But there's a friend of mine of a pretty big power metal band that went to our show and told me he didn't like the songs. He's like, honestly, I don't like your songs, man. It's too much. It's too much the stuff I don't like. But your singer, that guy's a star. He's like that dude. Like he just needs better songs than yours.
Wow.
Yeah,
Well, at
but
least
yeah,
it was
yeah.
honest.
He was, and
At
he's a
least.
very like. That's why he's my friend. Like
Okay,
he's a
okay, at least.
like he's a.
But he
But
deserves better
but
songs than
knowing
yours.
but knowing that guy, I know that he meant it. He wasn't fucking with me.
That's
He
yeah.
actually meant it. And so that I mean, it's the thing, man. Is the guy stuck in Brazil? He's never gonna get anywhere if he's singing a manifesto every
Yeah.
2 months. You know what I
And
mean? Like
I got the
it's
same
it's
feeling when I
it's
was there because I thought São Paulo was bigger, to be honest. I mean, São Paulo is huge,
it's
but when it
huge. Yeah.
comes to places where to play,
No, there's
it,
none.
no, there's
There's
none.
none. There manifesto. There used to be another one called Blackmore that
Yeah,
doesn't exist anymore. And
more.
then anything above that, 4,000 people. You can't have a tour in Brazil for 800 people.
No, 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 no,
That
no.
doesn't work. Yeah.
I was impressed actually by this because many bands, I thought, wow, you're in São Paulo. They're always playing in the same places. So it's like Italy, but in Italy you can go to Germany. For many years I've been playing with German bands, and I had this thing. I am closer to the metal scene than people in São Paulo. Because as I said, in São Paulo, if you're not Sepultura or Angra, you're not going to earn. You're just going to lose money. So the next question is like, you play with many bands that actually tour a lot in Europe. Tell me if I'm wrong. Have you ever thought about moving to Germany?
I think about that at least once a day. I'm not
Seriously?
even joking. Yeah, yeah, because it would make a lot of business sense to me. It would be great, but I do have a family here in America, and my wife has a really really good job at Universal Studios here in Orlando, and she has no interest, even though she's in Germany right now for work.
Okay.
She I mean she well, the thing is, I'm there so often that it doesn't really, it's almost like it doesn't matter. And dude, I miss the when I'm in Europe for a long time, I really miss America, man. Like
Wow.
I
Okay. Okay.
I gotta say, I am, I was born in Brazil or whatever, but I'm an American through and through. Like I like the comforts of America. I like the people of America. Like when you're in Europe, for example, unless you're in a really big city in the center of it, and you want to eat something at 2 in the morning, you ain't gonna find anything. Everything's gonna be closed. Here you can drive down to Taco Bell.
Okay. Okay.
So the I go to the I like going to the gas station and filling this up with soda and not a little cup. Like
Okay.
I love America. And it's just that power metal doesn't thrive here. But as long as I can commute and I can always go back and forth, it's okay.
That's
I'm there so often that you can drop me in any European city and I know where to go.
okay. Okay. You have many friends there. We have a
Yeah.
question about working with Logan Mather.
Hmm.
How it is? You record something on his studio?
Yeah, I've done a lot of work with Logan Mader over the years. This thing I've done with him, it was so long ago, I don't talk about it anymore. But I recorded guitars on the soundtrack for the video game Metal Gear Revengeance, because Logan was writing and producing that soundtrack. So I did a bunch of guitar with him on that. That was like 2011 or something, a long time ago. And then after that, I played lead guitar on his own band, Once Human, on the first album. And now he's actually producing the new Divine Heresy thing. Like I said, it's not Divine Heresy; it's called
It's,
Bleed the Fifth.
but it's
But
the same people basically.
it's the same people, and we're
Without.
doing we're doing rearrangements of the songs, of the same song. So we re-recorded, I think, six of the Bleed the Fifth song of the Divine Heresy songs, but with my solos and shit. It's way cooler now. And Logan is producing that, and he's also playing bass for us on one of the shows. And
Okay.
and on the Tommy Vax solo project, he also played guitar. So I'm always working on something with Logan.
Okay. 'Cause Logan
We're
did
always,
many things. Sorry.
he's a
Actually,
badass.
Guilherme made a comment. I'm sorry, I didn't see it. So when you were talking about
No.
his, yeah. So thank you, Guilherme. Guilherme, obrigado, Guilherme, por estar aqui ouvindo a gente. Prazer
Pô,
te conhecer.
mesmo você que fala português não consegue falar o nome dele?
Guilherme.
Guilherme.
Guilherme. Se eu tô
Nobody
falando,
can say his fucking
não,
name in
because when I
Europe.
like, se eu tô falando inglês, aí tenho que dar
Yeah,
uma parar. Guilherme Rose. Prazer em te conhecer. E sorry. So Logan did a lot of stuff, right?
Oh yeah,
So
man. He did the first couple Five Finger Death Punch. He did Gojira, like a lot of the big bands, man. He's a badass.
It's a badass dude. Se vê, falou direitinho.
Ah, yeah.
Consegui. So, and the question is, another question: who bench press more? I think you do, because because you've been training way more than I do. I am back at it 1 year now. I was way fatter.
Do that, but I don't move a whole lot of weight. What is that, 25 plus 120? Yeah, man, I can probably bench like 160 pounds or something. I don't even bench my weight.
160 pounds.
Yeah,
Now we not
25,
100
100.
kilos. Yeah, more or less what I do. Well,
Yeah.
if you're coming to Cagliari, actually, the guy who made a comment, Alberto, is the sound guy of the venue who we lost you.
Oh shit.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah. She's a dear friend of mine. And actually, he mixed the NORTHTALE song. I
Oh,
did the cover, he remixed it, and
oh, great
he was
job. It
like,
sounds great.
yeah, he was like, tell him I want to know everything about Logan, because Alberto is a guy who really is like, a typical sound engineer nerd. In a good
Oh,
way.
okay.
He wants to know every fucking thing. So when you
Yeah.
will meet him, he will like ask you 1 billion questions.
Oh yeah,
So
man. It'd be good to meet you.
I have a question about now your future with all the bands and the future with NORTHTALE. What's going on? So now we have another tour with I Am Morbid coming on next month. What's
Yeah,
going
and I
on?
have. I mean, honestly, honestly, I need to write a new album for NORTHTALE, and that's what we're doing now. Um, there's honestly way more ideas than I'm giving credit for. Like, I have a lot of scattered ideas that I haven't thought into songs yet. But the truth is, I'm so fucking busy with everything else. Um, I have the Bleed the Fifth show coming out,
April.
rehearsal and show coming out next week or 2 weeks from now. Then I have, then I go back to Europe. No, then I go to Brazil for Monsters of Rock with Doro. We
Oh,
do,
okay.
yeah, we do Monsters of Rock, and then we come back up here to Florida for Monsters of Rock cruise. Then at the end of,
That's a cool gig. That's a cool gig.
I've never, have you done that? Have you been
No,
there?
it's my dream. I've been one of the things that I'm missing is like playing on a fucking boat. And
Oh, you
then
haven't
like
done any of them yet.
no, 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 no.
Oh, dude, it's cool. I've done the Full Metal Cruise in Europe twice, and
Okay.
I've done the Barge to Hell, which was a death metal one here in America. I never done 70,000 and or Monsters of Rock, so that would be my first time doing that one. And then after that, I go to Europe again for Doro. I got Doro something in May. Then June, June I got May and June I got some Doro stuff. July we have Masters of Rock with NORTHTALE. That would be killer. The big festival in the Czech Republic. And then I'm off with I Am Morbid from August all the way through December, basically.
Wow, that's
Yeah,
a
dude.
wow.
Yeah,
All the way.
we haven't announced everything yet, but there's a bunch of new shit.
Wow.
Yeah, man. And then there's one big Doro show that I'm doing in. Oh yeah, I'm doing the big Doro headlining Wacken on August
I saw
2nd,
it. I
and
mean,
then
many cool gigs coming, man.
her 40th anniversary in Dusseldorf on this October 28th as well. So yeah, dude. I mean, I can't complain. I can't complain about work
Yeah.
on this coming year. I'm trying
I have
to. Yeah, go ahead.
one question. Do you find time like to do clinics or teach or do something instructional? Because
Not really.
I can see people are asking you. I mean, you would have like some market for it for sure.
Well, during the pandemic, I taught lessons, and I
Okay.
was actually making okay money, enough to survive. But that's not my thing, man. I'm not like I don't think I'm a great teacher. I don't really, I don't like teaching. And now clinics and stuff, I'm always down for because they're basically performances. So
Yes.
I've done ESP clinics in Brazil. I've done two, and I've done two. Not two, one. I was gonna do a second one, but I've done one in Japan. And I've done a NAM in the US. Like I played at the booth and stuff. But
I
I'm
was there a
not.
couple of years ago too. I didn't
Yeah,
mention.
NAM used to be cool. Now it just sucks. Now
Yeah,
it's not even
like
worth.
Music Master, the early days and now. Of course,
Yeah,
there's
exactly.
less money, so nobody is
Yeah.
is no artist to see and stuff.
Yeah, so I mean, yeah, but no, I the instructional, I
Because you have, I
you
mean, I think you have many things to.
well that's the thing, man. I am like a theory nerd.
Excuse me
I
one second. Sono impegnato, sono in una live. Because I have my studio and some people is coming just.
oh, what's up?
So there's a guy. He was making questions to you, and then he
What's up,
show up
man?
here. Senti qui, Aldo. The
Well,
sound guy.
he
He's
just
fucking
got
supporting metal.
Yeah, yeah.
he just got up and drove to your place.
He was asking questions. So I guess he was nearby with the
I was,
phone.
I was driving.
He was driving.
That's awesome.
So we'll be asking like the guy with the questions with Logan Mother. He will be the guy asking.
Okay, hell yeah, man.
So we
Cool.
will meet him in
Surprise,
Sardinia.
surprise.
So what I wanted to ask you, like, since we're having at the end of the interview. First of all, thank you again.
Yeah,
So
man.
what should we expect from the new NORTHTALE record? Sorry. And before that, about the instructional thing, do you think you will have always time to record like some lessons to share to sell or something like that?
Well, let's put it this way. It is in my plans. Like I want to do it. You know, I could do it. I just haven't done it. So it's not a priority in my mind. Like
Okay, I understand.
I would prioritize doing a new NORTHTALE record for sure.
Sure.
You know, it's and plus like I think there's so much instructional stuff right now that I'm not, you know, it's kind of like,
I can understand, but still,
you know,
I believe you have your own style.
yeah,
Something I
I
was
could.
like paying attention. Yeah, you have. So,
I could, you know, maybe we'll see.
what should we expect from the newest Northtail? More Brazilian stuff? Are you going to?
Oh, for sure, for sure. We're definitely gonna dig deeper into the Brazilian stuff.
Ah, that's cool, man.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
looking forward to hear that.
yeah,
Looking
and
forward to hear that.
also we're gonna have some different styles of songs. Because one thing I felt on this last tour is that the fast songs, it's cool, but like they don't move people as much as they move me, you know. So
Okay.
I'm gonna like we're still gonna have fast songs and all, but I'm definitely gonna start to expand and do some different stuff on this new album, more so than the second one.
Okay. Is it going with Nuclear Blast? Is it going to be with Nuclear Blast also, or new another label?
We're actually in the talks about that, so I don't know yet.
Because
We
the first two records were with them, right?
Yes, we did the first two records with Nuclear Blast, and we're in the talks for the new one. Actually, we haven't even talked about the new one, but yeah, we'll see what happens there.
Okay. So I thank you very much for your time, man. It was a pleasure, and we are looking forward to meet you in Sardinia. And actually, I will try to catch you with I Am Morbid somewhere in Italy.
Badass, man.
And once again, thank you for your time. It was a big pleasure.
Yeah.
And don't be a fat ass. So I'm going to stream later now.
Yes, very good.
Is your page "Don't be a fat ass"? Is your idea?
Well, it's I started doing the hashtag "Don't be a fat
Okay.
ass," but I didn't create the page. That was actually Diana, which is the love of my life merch girl who worked with us on the I Am Morbid tour in Europe. She's actually a big part of why I've been active even on tour, because on when the tour started, I told her, yeah, I work out, but not on tour. On tour, I just sit around. She's like, "Come on, let's go to the gym. Let's go." And because of her, I got into it and I never stopped. So me and her and some other people like Mark Lopez, the singer for Metal Church. There's Gyro from Troops of
Yeah,
Doom.
Gyro, great
There's
guy.
this girl Alex. Like we have a big community of people now using that same hashtag and tagging the page. But yeah, it started with me and this merch girl Diana on the I Am Morbid tour last year.
Okay,
And,
that's
and
cool.
but now some people got offended by the hashtag. So now we
Oh
have
my God! I mean, people
now.
get so fucking offended by every fucking
I
thing,
know people suck, man. And if you
dude.
got offended by that, you shouldn't. But now we have a different page that's "Don't be a lazy ass,"
Ah,
which
okay. But but
which
now
works
they
similarly.
get offended too. It's like
Exactly.
I had a Brazilian flag on my arm on the other, and people were like complaining that this is something from the right wing. I was, "Yeah, this is my country. This is my
Yeah.
why do you want to see something
Yeah.
political? It's the flag of my country, man."
Yeah. People are dumb, man. But
Well,
very dumb.
so now it's don't be lazy ass. So we
Don't
should
be a
tag it.
lazy ass.
Okay,
Exactly.
so I'll be tag the other page.
Yes.
So Bill, once again, thank you for your time. It was a pleasure, and I hope to see you soon in Italy, man.
Yeah, brother. Likewise. Thanks for having me, man.
My pleasure. Take care
Awesome.
and talk soon.
Take care.
Bye bye.